Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. Well, Joe Boo's down here in his shrine, getting ready for the game, getting his game face on. As always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football guys. Wake up, guys. Guys, you ain't going to sleep tonight. That's it. You're gonna be awake all night long, because this is it. There is no tomorrow. Well, there's tomorrow. Tomorrow's game day. Tomorrow we're gonna be realizing a bit of our dream here at Joe Boo Sports Man Cave. Um, about a year, maybe 2 years ago, I started talking to my man E2 Blue and Law Nation and things, and I started talking about the Cowboys conglomerate, where I dreamed about my man cave being kind of like Bristol, Connecticut, being the hub of YouTube sports media for the Cowboys. Because when you see ESPN and things like that, Fox Sports, they always have a narrative. And it doesn't matter what show you go through. It's always the Dallas Cowboys suck. Dak Prescott, worst quarterback in the NFL, and everybody else is good. But the great thing about having YouTube is it can cater to exactly what you're looking for. Now, I don't get paid by ESPN and those guys, and neither do people like Law Nation or Vash Lombardi or Okoye and things like that. But it doesn't mean that you're getting any better information from them. In fact, I dare say that we actually think for ourselves as opposed to being given a script. Because it's amazing how everybody on every show is always on the opposite side of a disagreement. Nobody's ever on the same side. You ever notice that? Do we always disagree about every topic? No, because it's set for theater. What you get from guys like us is you get the real passion from the Dallas Cowboy point of view. Now, I know I'm a homer, but I also like to think realistic. I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to go out and say the Cowboys are going to go 16-0 and we're going to win the Super Bowl every year. No, I'm going to tell you like it is. And a lot of times it pisses off some Cowboy fans because, I will be critical of my team. I love my team. But if I see something that I believe is wrong, I'm going to say it's wrong. Some people say, well, if you're a Dallas Cowboy, then you just, even if something's wrong, you don't say it. That's stupid. You're never going to get the better if you don't know what you're doing wrong. But be that as it may, I'll leave everybody where they are. But one of the things that I wanted to do was to have my man cave be like a sports bar. You go to Buffalo Wild Wings and stuff like that, and you get some wings that aren't that great. You want to have great wings. You want to have great food. You want to have atmosphere, so you have great fans and stuff in there. I have built my fire pit the year before, so that way afterwards we could go outside, smoke a cigar, and talk football stuff. And we've done some of that a little bit here. We've had a few people into the man cave and things. But tomorrow will be probably the biggest gathering I've had in quite a while. I'm going to have Joseph Heatherly, who has been a great supporter, a great friend, and I can't wait to finally actually meet him. He's going to be here. Jet D. Jet D hung out with us at Buffalo Wild Wings in Waynesboro, and he's been here before. E2 Late is always going to be here. But also I got Tyrone Smith, Tyrone Smith, and his wife and maybe his son coming tomorrow as well, as Rashid. Maybe Clarence will be here. Of course, Michael Anthony Fitness. So we're going to have a full house, and we'll be live streaming. And of course, we'll be bringing you Philly 500 with the Philly Cam, because this is what it's all about. This is the season on the line. There is no tomorrow. It's been a disappointing season, to say the least, for the Cowboys and the Eagles, but one of us will be going on. Maybe you don't have a great chance in playoffs, but I won't go that far, because if the Eagles win, regardless of being the Giants and the Redskins, you got 3 games in a row. 3 games in a row, that's some momentum. That is turning some things around for our Cowboys. If we beat the Rams, turn around and beat the Eagles, you got a little bit of momentum and you got a little bit of health on your side. So this game is big. So I said last night during my live stream that this is a huge game. This is a huge game, maybe bigger so for Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz even admits that this is the biggest game in his career. Let's listen to, and this goes back to what I was talking about, the reason why it's good to listen to YouTubers. Because the narrative that you get from the talking heads, sometimes it's just kind of shaded. Here it is, Carson Wentz wins against the Redskins in a shootout, beats the Giants in overtime, and it's Carson Wentz overcome lack of people to play with and gets the big win, even though he fumbles 3 or 4 times. Dak Prescott, it was because of Zeke Elliott that they won. Oh, well, they just barely won against bad teams. That's what you get. When Dak Prescott doesn't have people, it's like, well, you're supposed to overcome. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's go to this.
This game is the biggest of your career, the biggest start of your career?
You could probably say that. I mean, it's definitely a big game. We know the situation. Like I said, we know what's going on, and at the same time, we're treating it as another game, but we're aware of everything. And like I said, we're real excited. And for one, I'm really excited that we're at home. I know these fans are going to show up and be loud, and I can't wait till Sunday afternoon.
Nick, you think Sunday is the biggest game of that guy's career?
There's no question. It's absolutely the biggest game of his career. When they first said it, I shouldn't act like it's obvious, because when I first heard it, my reaction was, wait, was it? And then I thought about it, and I was like, well, yeah, definitely. The next biggest game of his career was the game where the 1 seed was on the line. He got his leg broken.
Yeah, against the Rams.
Against the Rams. Yeah. And so that even then, they had been so good that year, they did have a margin of error. That if they lose that game, they still could have ended up being the 1 seed. There's no margin of error for them in this game. This is the first playoff game of Carson Wentz's career. Really, and as an added bonus, if he wins it, he'll get another one. And both of them will be at home. And we will get to find something out this weekend. And then if they win it, 2 weekends from this weekend, about Carson Wentz that we do not know. I went into this year saying Carson Wentz, I don't care what the numbers say, is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. I just know it when I watch him.
See, you hear that? Forget the numbers. Before it was, well, look at the numbers. Carson Wentz has more touchdown passes. You see what I'm saying?
And even though Wentz has really struggled this year and Dak's playing some of his best football, it's hard to make that case. But in my heart of hearts, I still believe it.
Yeah.
But what we
don't believe your eyes, huh? Don't believe the numbers, huh? It's in your heart that you believe that Carson Wentz is a better quarterback, even though he has not beaten the Dallas Cowboys since 2017. Even though, right now, the last 2 seasons, he's 12-13.
we know about Dak is the playoffs are not too big for him. Arguably the best game of his entire career came his rookie season in the playoff game against Aaron Rodgers, going toe-to-toe with him. He won a playoff game last year. He does not.
He was bad at the start of that game. They got down like 3 touchdowns.
Right, and then in that spot in a playoff.
So was Dak playing defense on that game? The 3 touchdowns that they got down on? So when Morris Claiborne ended up having a 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty by grabbing the face mask and giving Aaron Rodgers a first down on a 3rd down that would have been a change of ball, when the officials called us for unsportsmanlike conduct for having 12 men in the huddle when we didn't, those were Dak Prescott's fault for his play?
Yeah, you can't let him back.
Let him back. What, at the very least, what everyone has to acknowledge is Dak doesn't get worse in the postseason. He doesn't shrink in the postseason. I don't think Carson Wentz would, but we have no idea. No one thought Peyton Manning would be a worse postseason quarterback than regular season quarterback until you saw him in the postseason bunch times. You're like, oh, okay, so he's this guy in the regular season, this guy in the postseason. There are other guys who the opposite happens to. They are actually better in the bigger of spots. I want to see this from Carson Wentz. We have seen him struggle throughout the year, but in the last 2 weeks in the fourth quarters, now against awful opponents where they shouldn't have been in this position, he has led them back. He has played big in those big spots. How well does he play with an undermanned roster this weekend in what is unequivocally the biggest game of his career.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough of those guys. But you get where I go with this. To have a rookie quarterback playing against Aaron Rodgers in his first playoff game. The Cowboys, it's true, went down 21-3. But he brought his team back and ended up taking the lead. And if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers making some magic, we win that game. And I'll give you another one. And when I say things like this, oh my God, people will come out the woodwork. He had 3 touchdown passes in that game. 3. That's more touchdown passes than Tony Romo ever had in the playoffs. But yet you hear guys like Doug Gottlieb say, well, he played awful the first half. They were down 20. Well, shit happens. But a lot of people, when they get down, they go down the toilet. This guy keeps fighting, keeps coming back, keeps coming at you, and never says die. We'll see where this all goes. I got a lot to do. I got to go to Restaurant Depot and get a big box of wings, and got to get me a big old steak for the steak and cheeses. And man, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready for this one. And Bird Gang, if you're watching, buddy, you have an invite to come over too. I don't have your number, so let me know if you are around. You can be our sacrificial eagle, so to speak. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, you're going to see a lot of me today. As my boy, don't worry, you'll see a lot of me today. All right, I'll see you guys soon.